Okay, floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, John. And thank you for all of our teammates, friends, and family who could join us today. And our team would like to extend a special thank you to Misha and Megan and everyone from AFW who was able to make it here via Zoom or in person. Our team had the wonderful opportunity, we were four hardworking women, to apply our specialties in digital audiences and or public relations to help provide further resources for women in Arizona. So we're going to start off with some introductions, and we're going to start with a little bit about ourselves and then a little tidbit about a female role model in our lives who helped connect us to our client. So hi, everyone. My name is Maya Badman, and I will be graduating in 2024 with a bachelor's degree in journalism and mass communication and a bachelor's degree in English creative writing. And I was part of the public relations specialist team as well. And a female role model in my life who I really appreciate and love dearly is my grandmother. She was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona, and helped foster Native American children for over 10 years of her life.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Levin. I was the other member of the public relations team. I will be graduating this May with a bachelor's in journalism. And the most influential woman in my life is also my grandmother, who has been the sole caregiver for my grandfather for over 22 years.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Singh. I am a senior this year at Cronkite and will be graduating in May with my bachelor's degree in journalism and mass communication. I'm on the digital audiences side of things here with Gabby, and a female role model in my life is my mother. She's a first-generation American and came over to the United States to pursue her education, so that just really inspires me.
Hi, my name is Gabriella Huron, and I'm also graduating this May with my bachelor's degree in journalism and mass communications. I'm also part of the DA Lab, as Alicia said, and one of my biggest role models is definitely my mother, just because she's so inspiring. Every day she wakes up and it's great because she just always is so hardworking.
All right, so we had the pleasure of collaborating with Misha Davis, the CEO, as well as Megan Adams, the operations and communications coordinator, who are graciously joining us today. So thank you for coming to join us. And Arizona Foundation for Women is a women's funding movement, that was founded in 1995, and they have since donated and dedicated $3.1 million towards the community.
So how did our team get started working with Arizona Foundation for Women? And it all began with client audits to take a dive into their social and traditional media. When we take a look at this social media, we can see that LinkedIn, as a business communications platform, had over 1,000 followers. Their Instagram had over 2,000 followers, and Facebook had over 4,000, with their Twitter being inactive since 2021. This allowed us to take a look at their branding with themes and colors, how often they posted, and what was the content being posted as well. And this allowed, especially with our digital audience lab, create their goals and the most beautiful posts, which they're going to describe later on. On the PR side, we also took a look into traditional media, and we noticed within a 6-month period, there were 24 mentions of Arizona Foundation for Women within articles, which could be a small mention or a big part of a press release. And so that also helped us notice what kind of goals we wanted to make for press releases and news releases throughout the semester.
So then one of the biggest focuses that we are going to be directing our attention to was the soiree, which is the biggest fundraiser of the year. So most of our efforts went towards this event.
Alrighty, and getting into some of these goals, I'm going to real quick list off our 3 main goals for public relations, and then we're going to take a bigger look into them and describe what this work actually looked like. Our first goal was to provide informational advisories for event promotion. Our second goal was to create proactive news releases, and our third goal was to connect with media outlets directly to garner relationships.
All right, so one of our first goals was to create event advisories. We wanted to really direct people towards AFW and all the events that they were having, and get more of an audience that wasn't just directly related to the foundation. So this consisted of us reaching out to different news sites and getting the calendar listings put on there for the event. And this also was a great way that, anyone that's Googling events near me, this will pop up on different calendar listings and people will have direct links to go and attend those events and get some more information about the foundation.
So this leads us to the creation of proactive news releases. This is one of my favorite parts of working with Arizona Foundation for Women. And as you can see, this is the final product, an example of having a press release published. But what really went into this? So our team collaborated a lot with Misha and Megan via emails, phone calls, or like in Zoom meetings and in-person meetings to be able to create and write a collaborative and cohesive press release that described the 3 honored by Arizona Foundation for Women. This really highlighted that soiree masquerade event that we mentioned earlier, which was an annual fundraising and annual award event. And so going into this, after we created the press release, we identified the target audience would be in the Maricopa County area because this event was held in Scottsdale. So we went through and had over 20 different publications that we wanted to reach out to. So we went through the very tedious process of emailing all of them, and then we went through a couple days later and called them all as well. And so that was really nice to be able just to see and hear these editors. And we finally have this example of the Scottsdale Independent publishing this press release. And there were 2 main highlights with this press release that we wanted to acknowledge. First being in the headline, the highlight of Arizona Foundation for Women. This really helps with search engine optimization. So people who are looking for Women in Arizona, annual awards events, foundations, and fundraising to identify and see that this article has everything they need in it. And secondly, was this photo of Mary Louise Parker, who is a prominent actress. What was great about this is sometimes articles just have a chunk of text, and so people will see it, skim right over it, and go to the next thing that captures their attention. But with having a photo here, this drew people in, especially since this was a prominent actress, and allowing us to make sure we had the best reader engagement on this press release. And this leads us to our proactiveness with news releases that has 2 main components, a template and a media list. And so when having this template, we wanted to have an outline, and this is what it would look like when we send it to media outlets that would have the logos, some of the color schemes of AFW, and how we would frame what a future press release would look like. As we said, we have a lot of collaboration with our director, with Misha and Megan, our people that we were talking with a lot. And so we wanted to make sure we had an efficient way to write down this information, and any of these little gaps of information we're able to have filled in. And so then with our media list, this list was created collaboratively to have over 30 media outlets and publications in Arizona, which then describes not only the editors who we would talk to, but their phone numbers, their emails, and in some cases, when their publication will actually publish. Because of course we want a week or 2 before the event, our press release out so everyone gets the most out of seeing it and can attend the event. But sometimes publications publish at the beginning of the month before your event can happen, or the end of the month before it happens. And so that's why a media list is really important to also see when is the best time to project these news releases out. And that's how we have that proactive news release.
Okay, so then one of our other goals was to build on media relations. We really wanted to develop some relationships with different outlets around the area so that we would have direct contacts that we can go to for any releases or any information that we want to be produced. So this is kind of a snapshot of the print outlets that we reached out to, but we also reached out to some radio stations as well as broadcast. So you can see, some of them are smaller and have much more of a niche audience, and then some of them are a lot larger, like AZ Big Media. And each of them are located within the Phoenix metro area. So they very much reach the audience that we're looking for. And like Maya said on the last slide, we got the Scottsdale Independent, which is on the mid tier of who we were reaching.
Moving on to the digital audiences side, we had a few main goals for this semester. The first one was to increase the soiree Moonlight Masquerade event that they had previously mentioned, to increase the page users by 50 during February 7th to February 21st. And then the second one was to increase the event page users by 50 during that other time frame with 2 different campaigns. And then we wanted to increase I cannot see it. The page users for Women, Wine, and Wealth networking event during that certain time period, and then increased by a total of 25 members through a LinkedIn campaign that we ran from April 4th to April 11th.
So going back towards what Maya was saying earlier about the soiree being one of the main events, we decided to go ahead and run a LinkedIn ads campaign. And again, like Alicia said, our goal was to increase page users by 50. So in total, 100 or 214 users. So originally we had 164 prior to the campaign running, and we went ahead and increased the page users by 346. So we actually exceeded our total goal by 132 page users, with 52 being ad driven. In addition to the paid social campaign, we also decided to do an organic social campaign, which was 3 days leading up to the event. So it was from the 21st to the 23rd of February. And we decided to make this one focus on honorees, whereas the other one was focused on foundation. So the results for this campaign was that we originally had 99 users, and of course we wanted to increase it by 50, so in total 149 users. So we received 243 users. So we were able to exceed our total goal by 94 users. So it was also another great success with that one. And we found that in terms of platform engagement, Facebook seemed to perform a lot better than that of Instagram. For another event that happened, it was the Wine, Women, and Wealth event, which was on April 12th. We decided to go ahead and run a LinkedIn event ad. So this took place from March 30th to April 11th, and our goal was to receive 15 RSVPs. So we initially had 26 RSVPs, and we received a total of 55 RSVPs, with 7 being ad driven.
And then one of our big goals was to increase memberships. So we ran this Instagram and LinkedIn campaign focusing on what being a member means at Arizona Foundation for Women, as well as a little testimonial from a current member. These are the results. We ran the campaign from April 4th to April 11th. And what our biggest finding is that this was far too short to run a campaign for the goal that we had. So our biggest recommendation at the end of this is to really focus on memberships for the next group, and to maybe make it a semester-long project, because at the core of Arizona Foundation for Women is its members, and it's something that's really important to the organization. So we wish that we would have focused a little bit more on this. But yeah.
All right, so we had a couple recommendations on the PR side. One of them was to build in some more time to garner responses. We know that the approval process goes through multiple people, and so allowing more time for that to happen will make it for a smoother process. And then along with that, we want to ensure timeliness to release informational releases. Sorry. So being very proactive with the media, as well as the donors and the attendees, as much information as you can prior to the event, with a good amount of time for anyone that needs some travel time or, to arrange things in their schedule. So being very proactive with that.
Thank you, Misha and Megan, again for being here today and your dedication that allowed us to collaborate and work really hard with y'all. Can we get a big round of applause for them this semester? And also thank you to all of the Arizona Foundation of Women members who are on Zoom and in person today, who are able to make this possible as well.
First questions always go to the client. So do you have any questions for the team?
I don't really have questions, but I just wanted to say that you really didn't have a lot of window of time for any of this. So to do what you did in that short window and you jumped right on it. We didn't have to chase after you. You were chasing after us. So we apologize again for that. But as you know, putting on a big event is very time consuming. So I just want to say thank you. It's been a true pleasure. And we've got a lot of great things that we're going to share back with our board and our communications committee that's really getting started.
Yeah, I was just going to echo what Misha said. I'm like still blown away at how many different campaigns you were able to run. And yeah, we just appreciate you feeling inspired and confident enough to just run with it and do it. And
I do have one more thing. The other thing that I really, really appreciated is how you started off and each of you talking about a woman that was inspiration or still is inspiring you. So that shows me you really took our organization to heart. And then you had one of my personal taglines on the slide, which I really, really appreciated. So that meant you were listening to us as well, because that's nowhere on the website or anywhere. So thank you.
Thank you both. Questions? Yes.
I feel like event planning and event prep is like a part of PR that like we don't always get to spend a lot of time on in a classroom. So what was it like being able to work on that this semester? Because I feel like your group got to do a lot of that. And what was just like that like and some of the challenges?
Absolutely. So of course we had that very large event in the beginning being that soiree Moonlight Masquerade. And it was a lot of collaboration with Misha and Megan getting details about it to understand what was the mission and how were we going to bring this out to people and have the most information released as well. And so that's why that press release was really important to us, because it was so early on in our like collaboration with them. It was one of our first meetings. We realized, I think it was like 2 weeks away. We were like, okay, let's get that press release out. And so that was a great time. And I know Arizona Foundation for Women also works with the ASU like film school as well. There's a collaboration with them to try to get videos for that event. So I think for a lot of these events, there's so many different moving parts that just to be able to understand the whole picture is the first part into being able to relay it to other people.
Well, and on the PR side, like I really appreciated doing a lot of events that we were able to, we needed to pitch to different outlets. And so finding, I mean, if you look at Phoenix, if you Google Phoenix outlets, like it could take you days to go through all of it. So to find like the best outlets that are great for your audience, that was really helpful, that we got to do a few times for different events.
Other questions? So from my standpoint, if we're looking at this client potentially continuing to work with them in the future, what are some opportunities you see even beyond what we've been able to do this semester?
I think beyond what we've been able to do, one of the initial things we noted within the like client audit was that Arizona Foundation for Women also has a YouTube channel. And I think that would be a great place to expand, not only with the information at the bottom, which highlights what is in the video, who's in the video, and how that can be reached out further, but also just creating those videos to have further resources for women. And I noticed some of them had Misha specifically in them for news segments. So making sure we have more news segments that can then be highlighted on that channel.
From the DA lab?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we found out this semester was that LinkedIn really is the platform for this client, which is really exciting for both of us because we hadn't previously worked with LinkedIn ads and we got to do a lot of it this semester. And those ads were always really successful. As you can see from the presentation, we always exceeded our goal when we were using the LinkedIn platform. So I think that really continuing to grow your LinkedIn connections and being frequent posters on that platform would be really helpful. And just continuing to use LinkedIn to your advantage.
Also, I just wanted to add on, since they have like events and things that are like real time, maybe adding in a lot of organic social things. So whether it become photos, videos, just things that give people faces to match up to these events. So it's not just words being thrown, but more of these are the people that went to these events. These are the people that spoke at those events. I think that would be really also awesome to add.
Great. Thank you both. Any other questions? Fantastic. Thanks, group.
Good job, y'all. Good job. Oh my God, your microphone is so.
Because they were off earlier. Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, sure. Where's my picture?
can be thinking. No, how far? No, you're gonna go. You're the club. Elvia, I don't think have you met Abby yet? This is Abby Zuka. She's another one of the directors here at the agency. She leads all of the digital marketing.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so Elvia is the director of the IDSA, which is all of the nutritional classes for every little step counts and how to program.
Or yeah, we do a lot of benefits.
So for two dietitians for the stars of our campus. Right next door. Yeah.
Love.
And you remember John, right?
Sorry.
Elvia.
So glad you could come. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming.
Yeah, we're excited to check it out. Paul stepped out somewhere to take a call.
And it's hilarious. They were like, Paul got a haircut. He lost a bet with one of his YMCA branches that they could do something. They could shave his head and they won. And so like he had like these like long, like almost a ponytail. Like
He's so long, so
I
was
did not
shocked.
recognize him as he was coming in. I was like, hold on.
And I thought I was doing the call and like I felt bad because like you look good. I people I was like, but I felt bad because I was so shocked. I was like, what did you do? Why?
So honestly, you all can sit, like, I would say either first or second row, so that way they can see you. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Put the pressure on.
Yeah, I'm her best.
Yes.
But there's nothing. Or like, I don't.
Oh.
Mhm. I think they're gonna try, for the video to show.
Nisha and are just asking for them.
Like, what does it stop us from?
Or, well, the one that he just took right now, but I guess if there's professional photos, that's even better.
I'm gonna hide it in here so that they can see
Okay.
it.
Yeah, or even film it.
Also good job.
Thank you. That was really- I feel like the results make
Yeah.
a lot better.
So sweet.
I know, I was so happy. Yeah, it came out really well. You know, okay, even though we had 25.
2 DA, 2
Yeah.
PR, 2 DA, 2 PR.
Ever campaign first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it was only like, so I think, I feel like that's probably some of the longer. It would have definitely.
No, this one's.
You know that's on.
Oh, for ACFW? Oh, no, for, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this because this was on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So it's like, even though it was.
Hello.
Is it okay if I use the lecture? No?
Hello.
Did they already?
Hello. Oh. Work.
Who starts?
Yeah. Right, I mean. Yeah.